What if I told you that 7 books, yes, 7 books, have the power to completely change the way that we think, that we live, and the way that we work? This is the impact that these 7 books have had on me over the last few years. Books that actually taught me skills and lessons that I randomly see popping up every day in my life. They helped me strengthen my relationships with my friends and family, have helped put my struggles into perspective, and have opened the door to business opportunities that I never saw coming. I've come back to these time and time again because they actually work. Stick around, these 7 self-improvement books have the power to change your life. I find it very interesting that the majority of people that watch these videos don't actually subscribe to the channel. And the only thing that I will ever ask of any of my viewers is to simply hit the like and the subscribe button down below. The impact that it makes for a small channel like this one is impossible to put into words. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. This book isn't about saying that you don't care about anything. It's about changing what you choose to care about. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, we all have a very limited amount of resources and attention. So what if I told you that the key to living a more fulfilling life is learning to stop caring about everything and to start caring about the right things? 2 major takeaways, and this is kind of how I'm gonna do it. 2 major takeaways from each of these 7 books. The first one from The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck is to stop caring about everything and focus on what really matters. Manson makes it very clear that we all have a limited amount of resources, so we need to be intentional about what we invest our energy into. Chasing every little thing that society says matters is a trap. The key to fulfillment isn't in piling on more, it's in eliminating the noise and choosing the things that actually truly align to our values. Aging isn't something to fear, it's growth. Instead of wishing you were younger or stuck in a past version of yourself, embrace each stage of life for the lessons that it actually has to offer. Manson says that aging means you're evolving, and that's something to be celebrated, not feared. As I was getting to the end of the decade of my 20s and entering into my 30s, like a lot of people, this came with a lot of uncertainty, and I wasn't sure exactly how to handle this. Should I be scared? Should I be excited? What is the next 10 years gonna bring for me? And the anxiety that this kind of created, this book helped put some of that into perspective. It helped me reframe it and look at it in more of a positive way, to look at the future as something to be celebrated, to be excited about, and to look forward to. This book hit me hard because it challenges you to think about what you're actually giving your fucks to, and if it's actually worth your energy. It reminded me that you cannot please everyone, and that's okay, because it's your life and your priorities are what matter the most. Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. This was a very impactful book for me. It was recommended by a family member. It's quiet, it's emotional, and it just hits a little bit different. This book is a series of conversations between a man and his dying mentor, Morrie, a former college professor, who shares his life lessons as he battles with ALS. This book was recommended to me because somebody that was close to me was dealing with a similar condition, and I wanted to understand on a deeper level what they were going through, what they were experiencing, and how I could help, if there was anything that I could do at all. The 2 major takeaways from this book: we should try hard not to get trapped by society's definition of success. Morrie talks about how it's easy for us to chase the wrong things. Money, status, recognition. We spend so much time trying to make it that we forget to ask, what does that actually mean to me? Morrie flips that on its head. He says, don't buy into a culture that makes you feel like you're never enough. And for me, super relatable. I'm always chasing after this feeling, and no matter how far I get down the road or there's certain things, the goals that I set for myself, if I accomplish them, I never quite feel like enough. And I think that's something that's probably relatable for a lot of people. He provides the solution that instead of buying into society's definition of success and their culture, build your own based on love, service, meaning. And that kind of hit me hard. It made me really start to reevaluate what I was chasing after. I've always had this inner drive to accomplish more, to set more goals, make more money, or try to do something that, is gonna make more money. But I never actually explored the idea of when will enough be enough? Will it ever be? Will I even recognize it when the time comes if I don't actually define what's important to me. We should try everything that we can to not fear aging. Morrie says, aging is not decaying, it's just growth. We're taught to dread getting older, but Morrie, he sees it as a privilege. Every stage of life has something new to offer us, something new to teach us. And if you're always wishing that you were a younger version of yourself, you're never actually living in the moment. This book taught me to slow things down, and it has really reminded me to recognize special moments in time, appreciate where I am today. My brother and I have been living together over the course of the last 2 years, and I don't know if I'll ever have this opportunity to live with him again. We've obviously, as kids, we spent our entire childhood together, and then we both went to college. We went 8 years without living together. And the last 2 years, we've gotten really close. We've gotten to have those everyday conversations with each other that we haven't had in years. We may never have this opportunity again. It's really teaching me to slow down in the moment, enjoy those everyday conversations that we're getting to have, enjoy every day while it lasts. A little cliche, the lesson that I took away from this book nonetheless. Leading with the Heart by the legendary Duke basketball coach, Coach K. This book isn't just for coaches or for athletes. It's about how to lead with values, how to bring heart into everything that you do, and how to inspire others around you. Great leaders build trust before they build strategy. Coach K talks about how success, it begins with relationships. He spent time knowing his players, not just coaching them. He created a culture where people felt seen, heard, and valued, and that made his teams unstoppable. It made me think, am I really doing the same type of things with the people in my life? Am I really listening, supporting, connecting? Another main takeaway is that discipline and emotion, they can work together. Most people think that discipline means being cold or rigid. Coach K talks about how real discipline comes from caring deeply about your standards, your people, and your mission. And that combination of heart and hustle is what really separates the good coaches and the good leaders from the great leaders and the great coaches. This book helped me become a better teammate, a better mentor, a better friend. This one is probably my favorite one from these 7 books. The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. This book completely changed the way that I think about my own thoughts. A little bit of a brain twister there, but these are the thoughts that, not just the ones that you notice, but the ones that are just constantly running in the background of your mind at all times. These are the thoughts that are shaping your actions, your habits, your beliefs, without you even realizing it. Here's what hit me the hardest. Whatever you feed your subconscious mind, both positive or negative, your brain and your mind takes it in, stores it, and starts acting on it. So if you're constantly telling yourself, I'm not good enough, or I never catch a break, guess what? Your subconscious mind is working to prove you right. But if you work hard at flipping that, it becomes really powerful. My main takeaway from this book is that I would like to start planting better thoughts. I'm learning, I'm growing, opportunities are out there. And over time, your subconscious mind works on bringing these things to life. Murphy explains how vividly imagining success, whether it's peace of mind, a strong relationship, or a new business, starts reprogramming your mind to align with that reality. It's not just magic, what he calls it is mental conditioning. This book reminded me that the stories that we tell ourselves, they really matter. And I've taken this idea and I've used it to start to imagine, what does my perfect life look like? I started envisioning my future with a happy, healthy family, a fulfilling career, and a YouTube community that is strong and responsive. So if you want to change your life, start by changing your thoughts. The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. This isn't just a how-to guide on being more productive. It's not about hacks or hustle. It's about who you become when you start seeing yourself as somebody that is creative. And you start seeing creativity as a way of existing. Rubin sees creativity as something that we are all wired for, not just artists or musicians. For me, I've always seen myself as somebody that is lacking the ability to activate the creative side of my brain. I don't know if it's right brain or left brain, but I've always been the opposite side. I've told myself that I'm not able to tap into that side of my brain. And after reading this book, Rick Rubin makes it very clear everybody is capable of being creative. And one of the most powerful things that he teaches is that you are the instrument not just the creator. Ideas flow through you, not just from you. That means that our job is not to force creativity, it's to stay open, to stay curious, and present enough to actually receive it. That shifted everything for me. It made me think about the way that I try to control every outcome and start to be more intentional about paying attention to inspiration, stillness, and the moment. Ruben talks about how structure and limitation can amplify creativity. Sometimes having less time and fewer resources or tighter boundaries forces you to dig deeper and find something that is truly original. In a way, this book, thinking back on it, it didn't just make me more creative, it kind of made me more human, more connected to the process of creating stuff. A video, a conversation, or even a better version of myself. To a certain extent, after reading this book, maybe it's part of the reason I ended up starting a YouTube channel. The Art of Happiness by the Dalai Lama. This book gave me some of the most calming answers and perspective shifting answers I've ever read. It's a conversation between the Dalai Lama and a psychiatrist about what it takes to be happy. And the simple truth that they landed on is this: happiness is a skill. It's something that you cultivate, not something that you just randomly stumble upon. It's something that is built by showing up for yourself every day. It doesn't come from achievement, money, comfort. It comes from your inner world. And one of the biggest takeaways is that the mind is really everything. Your perspective, or how you interpret certain events, has more power than the actual events themselves. Two people can go through the exact same situation and walk away with completely different emotional outcomes based on how they frame it. And another lesson that stuck with me is that compassion isn't just for others, but it's also for ourselves. You don't need to beat yourself up to grow. The Dalai Lama talks about the power of gentle self-awareness, how being kind to yourself makes it easier to face your flaws and improve. I've always been somebody that's pretty hard on themselves. I thought I needed it to push myself to go further. And as a result, I would talk to myself in ways that I would never talk to somebody else, talk to a friend or a family member. This book brought me peace in moments that I didn't know that I needed it. It reminded me that the ultimate goal of self-improvement is not perfection, it's inner peace. How to Live an Extraordinary Life by Anthony Pompliano. After exploring happiness, creativity, mindset, leadership, I wanted something that would pull it all together. And this book was brought to me by a close friend of mine. Something that answered the big question: how do you actually live a life that is not just average, but extraordinary? I got as close as I could have to an answer to that with this book. This book started off as a series of letters that Anthony Pompliano was writing to his children. And he had put enough of these letters together that eventually he turned it into a book. He breaks down what it means to live on your own terms. And the biggest takeaway for me was that if you want to live an extraordinary life, you have to make extraordinary choices. That means doing what most people won't do, taking calculated risks, betting on yourself, saying no to good things so that you're open to the great ones. It's not about luck, it's about ownership. He makes it very clear, nobody is coming to save you. You are the one that must decide, to commit, to act. Another takeaway: optimize for freedom and not just for comfort. Pompliano talks about how easy it is to chase comfort, to chase safety, but the real magic happens when you prioritize your freedom. Freedom of time, of thought, and action. Comfort can keep you stuck. Freedom pushes you to grow. This book really lit a fire under me and played a big role in me starting a YouTube channel. So there you have it. 7 books that didn't just entertain me, they transformed me. They shaped how I think, how I work, how I live, and how I see myself. And if you're serious about growth, about building a life that actually means something, any of these books could be the one that sparks that change in you. And if there's a book that you have in mind that I have left off this list, let me know down in the comments. And as always, if you took any value away from this, make sure to hit the like and the subscribe button down below, and I'll see you on the next one.